I'm in two minds about this Oblivion Remaster, and a lot of that depends on where you fall in the great gaming timeline. If you're one of us old relics who remembers when Oblivion first dropped, then odds are you've got those rose-tinted knickers firmly wedged up your nostalgia pipe. You'll be sat there, trousers round your ankles, getting all misty-eyed over a 19-year-old classic that somehow still knows how to swing its sword without snapping a hip. Now on paper, this remaster should be an easy win. Polished visuals, smoother animations, better combat, and the kind of lighting that makes even an Argonian look like a half-shaggable asset. But then the rational bit of me chimes in. The bit that judges games by today's standards, not by how many hours I wasted in my pants playing it back in the day. And it's here you look at that $50 price tag and you have to start being honest with yourself, because if you're new to the world of Oblivion, you might be sat there scratching your head wondering what in the 9Ls is all the fuss about, because behind that shiny new coat of paint is an engine so old it probably creaks when it loads a save file. It's pure vintage Bethesda, glitchier than your nan's internet after a thunderstorm. So is this the best thing since sliced bread, or is it just a bit of crusty old mutton dressed up as lamb? Well, put the kettle on, grab a cuppa, and let's dive deep into today's review. First up, let's discuss the big question at hand. Is this a remaster or a remake? Credit where it's due, this thing offers a hell of a lot more than the usual turn up the brightness and pray they don't notice remasters that we've seen before. At times, Oblivion actually feels like a different beast entirely. We're talking smoother animations, upgraded lighting, and texture work that finally makes bricks look like bricks, not melted cheese. But let's not get carried away either. For all the bells and whistles and graphical nip-tucks, this still sits firmly in remaster territory for me. Why? Because the AI still couldn't outsmart a potato, cities still feel emptier than a monk's inbox on OnlyFans, and those voice lines, lads, they sound like Siri's drunk uncle having a crack at amateur dramatics. Every guard talks like they've just been unplugged and rebooted mid-sentence.
The Kvatch Oblivion Gate has been closed. Don't you understand what that means? We can beat the bastards.
I've heard others say the same.
Have you had the pleasure of staying at the Tiber Septum?
Now back in the day, that was all part of the charm. We didn't know better, bless us. But in 2025, that sort of jank's more dated than your dad's Bluetooth earpiece. So I'm actually relieved Bethesda didn't slap a remake label on this. Expectations stayed nice and grounded, and for once, I didn't have to launch into a full-blown rant because of it. You have to tip your hat to Bethesda here, because I think as long as you yourself know where that expectation sits, then you're going to get more enjoyment from this. Now look, we can't go much further without undressing the graphical upgrades, can we? Because Unreal Engine 5 doesn't just walk into Oblivion, it swans in like it owns the bloody place, slapping its meat on the table and daring you not to be impressed. And to be fair, it mostly delivers. The textures, absolutely miles better. No more flat wallpaper pretending to be brickwork. Now the statues and castles look like they've been carved by someone who wasn't wearing a blindfold. What you lose in that old school colour saturation, that slightly cartoonish sun-drenched vibe, you more than gain in proper atmospheric depth. Gone is the plastic sheen of yesteryear. Now you've got fog rolling in, weather systems that spring into action during exploration, and a moody sun haze that makes every sunrise feel like it's been handcrafted by an elf with a vape addiction. Honestly, it's probably what Bethesda wanted all along, before they were hamstrung by the tech at the time. And don't get me started on the grass and vegetation. There's so much of it now, long, flowing, luscious blades of the stuff stretching out like nature's red carpet sprinkled with flowers that give the whole colour palette a proper pop. Interiors aren't slacking either. Torchlight now glows like it's actually giving off heat, casting proper shadows that make dungeons feel more lost in ancient ruin and less someone's basement cosplay party. All in all, what they have done with this remaster is nothing short of superb, because if you've played the original countless times, it's going to leave you a little teary-eyed and wondering why this has taken so long. However, And I hate to be that guy, not everything is all sunshine and roses. See, I'm running this bad boy on a 5090, fully juiced, maxed out at 4K with every graphical bell and whistle cranked to the max, and I'm pulling 100 to 150 frames per second depending on location, so you'd think smooth sailing, right? Wrong, because something's off. It ain't stuttering, not exactly, it's not chugging or hitching, but it doesn't feel silky. That proper butter on a hot pancake fluidity you expect when your rig's basically a small nuclear reactor. Maybe it's frame timing, maybe it's VSync throwing a wobbly, maybe Todd's cursed it with his usual black magic, I don't know, but it's there, a subtle itch in the brain that says, mate, this ain't right. Which brings us to the harsh truth. No matter how fit this thing looks, underneath it's still the same pig it always was. We've all been there, haven't we? 5 pints deep, chatting up a worldie at the bar. You text your mates like you're Casanova reborn. She invites you back and you're thinking you've won the bloody lottery. But then morning comes, the beer goggles have evaporated and suddenly you're staring at something that looks like it crawled out of an Oblivion gate. That, my friends, is Oblivion Remastered. Gorgeous on the outside, but once you scratch the surface, it's still held together with duct tape, hope, and the occasional patch. You see, it's not just a feeling, the cracks are there, plain as day, and they start showing up like your ex at your wedding. Enemy AI, absolutely tragic. These bellends charge at you like they've just snorted coke and they hope for the best. There's no flanking, no tactics, no sense of self-preservation, just full-on Leroy Jenkins energy from start to finish. And here's what I also hate, the fast travel system. I found I could just fast travel anywhere without even discovering the location first. Maybe I just forgot what it was like on the original, and let me know in the comments if I dreamt it, but I swear you'd have to discover locations first. So much mystery, exploration and immersion gets sapped from the mechanic, and I implore you to avoid using it at all costs, at least until you visit that location in person first. The good news is that they have implemented a sprint mechanic, so not all is lost here. Then you've got the cities, and I know I touched on this earlier, but bloody hell, it deserves a second moan. You'd think with all the horsepower under the bonnet these days, we'd have towns bursting at the seams, street performers juggling mud crabs, market stalls yelling out dodgy potions, NPCs actually doing things that resemble life. But nope, what do we get? Traders frozen in place like they've just been hit with a tariff. The dialogue's no better, still stiff as a corpse on a cold morning, delivered with the emotional range of a dead fish. They say they've added a few extra lines and given different accents to races, but it's still a bit shit if you ask me. But here's the thing, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite about it. Bethesda did say that this was a remaster, not a remake, so I have to go back to that point. All this jank is part of the deal. The issue I have then is the $50 price tag on it, because suddenly I'm expected to smile through gritted teeth while they empty my coin purse. That ain't a remaster price, lads. That's new game who dis territory, and for what is essentially a glorified wax job, it just doesn't quite sit right with me, even with all the aforementioned additions. Right then, gameplay. This is where the meat meets the mead. It's the same tried and tested Bethesda formula that turned them from a scrappy dungeon crawlers to gaming royalty. And you know what? For all its creaky bones and outdated joints, it still holds up really well. Sure, some of the systems are as old as your granddad's underpants. Want to level up acrobatics? Easy. Just mash that jump button. Doesn't matter where you are. Dungeon, city, middle of a bloody field. Just keep hopping like a lunatic on a pogo stick and you'll be a certified Parker god in no time. Same goes for every other skill. Bash, sneak, block, repeat, spam your way to success. Now by today's standards, where skill trees have intricate branches that have prerequisites for other skills, this sort of grindy, gamified nonsense does feel a bit geriatric. But here's the thing, it's still addictive as f***. You'll want to sneak around like a pervy goblin just to swipe a silver spoon and boost your stats. You'll want to keep swinging that sword until it's basically part of your arm, all in the name of seeing that lovely little number go up. And in fairness, they have tweaked the leveling system here, giving you the ability to spend points in a way that is a cross between Oblivion and Skyrim, and the UI has also been given a lick of paint to help things smooth along nicely. And that's where Oblivion still pulls its weight, that satisfying feedback loop of becoming whatever twisted, loot hoarding, spell chucking creature your heart desires. The remaster proves there's still plenty of legroom in the old system. It's janky, it's dated, but like a battered old pint glass, it still gets the job done, and you'll keep going back for one more sip, creating new and exciting builds. The story, bless it, remains untouched, and for good reason. You wake up in a prison cell, and before you've even had a chance to wipe the crust out your eyes, you're neck deep in a world-ending crisis, being told you, yes you, a bloke who has just been arrested for God knows what, are the only one who can save the entire continent. Credit where it's due, the main quest still slaps harder than a drunk Nord at closing time. The whole gig with shutting down Oblivion gates, facing demonic monstrosities, and wandering into realms that look like Satan's acid trip, still brilliant. It's dramatic, it's weird, and most importantly, it's fun as hell. Now, I've already roasted the voice acting, and the script gives the same energy at times where half the time it feels like it was written during a pub lock-in, but weirdly, none of that ruins it. The content, it still shines. The bones of the story are strong, and if you're a fresh-faced newcomer, never played this back in the day, lad, you're on for a great ride. Right then, let's talk sound, and I'm about to make a bold claim here, which I will go into shortly. Now yes, we've had a good laugh about the voice acting, but the sound effects more than make up for this shortfall. You've got caves that echo, forests that are alive with rustling trees and wildlife whispering sweet nothing in your ear, and the combat sounds great. Steel on steel clangs that make you wince, spells bursting across the scene with a proper oomph, like someone drop kicked a fireball down your throat. But here's the real crown jewel, and where I'm laying down that bold claim, the musical score. I'm not just saying it's good, I'm saying it might be one of the greatest soundtracks in any game ever. Yeah, I said it, come at me, that's what she said. It's absolutely glorious. Every note feels like it's been hand-carved by the gods themselves, whether it's gently humming along as you trot through sun-drenched hills or rising up like a heroic stiffy mid-battle. This score makes Oblivion what it is. It's not just background noise, it's the heartbeat of the entire adventure. It pulls you in, wraps you up and tells you, yes mate, you are the chosen one. So while the voice lines might make you cringe so hard you sprain your spine, the music's there, standing tall, holding the whole damn experience together like the world's most beautiful duct tape. So then, Oblivion Remastered. It's a tricky one this. I tread carefully here because this game is like staring into the soul of gaming. If you're new to the world, you might sit there scratching your ass wondering what all the hype's about, and I get it. For $50, the systems feel creaky, the world can seem a bit flat, and despite the new coat of Unreal powered paint, this gameplay shows its age. Personally, I don't think it's worth the full whack. At $30, I'd be singing a different tune. Hell, I'd even hum the main theme in the shower. What really stings is that this could have been more. All the ingredients are there for something special. They just needed another year to cook it into a full-on reimagining. But for those of us coming back for a taste of yesteryear, this is comfort food. Proper, hearty, nostalgic stew. Slightly oversalted, sure, but it warms the soul. Because here's the sad truth, us old school gamers are clinging to remasters like this because modern AAA gaming just ain't what it used to be. There was a time when single player epics mattered, when the goal was to immerse you, not bombard you with live service rot battle passes and half-baked content drops. Oblivion then, it reminds us of that golden age, not just in what it is, but in what we've lost. And for that reason alone, I can't help but not like what this represents. Raise a glass, swing a sword, and remember when games made your jaw drop. Until next time, my lovelies, Reggie out.